une seule maison qui n'a full size this afternoon. But it remained a long plot of land all along that they divided into plots for building. And to have a lot of owners or buyers, they made plots of 20 by 65. But the reason why you see the houses have all the and then they built, and when they arrived at the first floor, they
I need to be standing on the higher ground.
There you go. Well, we can kind of get up.
We're with a different group now, so we gotta get back.
We are on Honfleur shopping. The church.
Of Normandy, which had been built between 1987 and 1995, is a cable-stayed bridge. It's a technology which was set up by French engineers at the beginning of the 70s. So that the first prototype was built above the Seine River, and after that the technology was developed by many other countries. So there are 184 big cables which are connecting the road bridge with the poles. Each pole is 750 feet high. So on your left hand side, the mouth of the river, so it's slightly hidden by the mist. And on your right hand side, the Seine River Valley. So the original riverbed is going from the cliff which are in front of you to the cliff which are behind us. And you see how they shrinken that width, because the Seine was very shallow and with quantity of sand shores. So there were so many shipwrecks that they decided to rebuild completely the river banks and to shrinken the width of the river to make it deeper and sailable. That were huge works which began in 1840 and were finished in 1964. So in front of you, on your left hand side, you have the port of Le Havre, and this is a part of the port where are the oil refineries. That's the reason why you see some flames coming out of it. They were so heavy, in order to have them floating on the sea, they had these plastic mattresses, plastic skirts. They were dotted with plastic skirts, if I may say so that they would float on the sea. But on that day, the weather was so bad and the waves were so strong that they literally tore off the plastic skirts. So they sunk, many of them sunk when they crew aboard. This one was recovered in 1974, 30 years after the landing. You can have a glimpse on the right here over the beach of Juno. But you will understand very, very clearly visiting the museum here in Arromanches. You see this roof on the left? On the left here, it is covered with
covered with so much. Look at that. Yeah, see those things move.
Yeah, and then they had to figure out a way to secure and anchor them.
Right, I'm not sure how they did that.
Donc on se servait à l'eau de crépuscule pour masquer les animaux. Et ce brouillard alors, mesdames et messieurs, voilà pour l'explication générale de la
British beach.
So what changed it back in the 1900s? It's like a resort town.
Oh,
Right?
before the war.
Before the war.
Set up on the beach.
Yeah.
It was at the end. It'll never be.
Which division?
83rd.
Okay.
And he arrives 2 days.
Can you all hear?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, that is great news. We are here at Normandy American Cemetery. We have prepared the ceremony for you. The American Battle Monuments Commission that runs the cemetery has been so kind to organize it, and they're going to run it now. It's going to be a wreath laying ceremony, and we already have a gentleman that will volunteer to take the wreath. I would like to know if amongst you there are any ladies that have served in the armed forces that are veterans. Any of you amongst you, any ladies that have served in the armed forces? No? Then I'll finally ask another gentleman. Also, it's a volunteer. We need two. We already have one. So one of you that has served in the armed forces, please come forward. For the rest of you, if you'd be so kind to just do a slight circle or a semicircle here around the wreath.
Babe, can you back up a little more so I can see?
Just so that everyone has a nice view. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Nancy, she's part of the staff here at the cemetery. She's going to be using a microphone and their own sound system, so you'll be listening to them. Afterwards, when she finishes the ceremony, I would like to say a few words as well. So right now, I'll just like to ask you for your attention and your respectful silence during the ceremony. Thank you very much.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Normandy American Cemetery. My name is Anne-Sophie, and I'm one of the guides of the cemetery, working for the American Battle Monuments Commission that maintains this place here in Normandy, this cemetery, and all the other U.S. military cemeteries overseas. I'm pleased to welcome you today to this very special place where more than 10,000 Americans are honored. More than 9,000 of them are actually buried here in this cemetery overlooking Omaha Beach, according to their family's decision after the war. So among the 27,000 Americans who were killed in Normandy and who are resting at the end of the war here on our soil, more than 9,000 of them are actually resting here. All the rest were shipped back home at the American development expense after the war. Let's not forget the 1,500 Americans who served in Normandy who were never to be found. Their names are engraved on this wall that you see behind the memorial. We're all here today to pay homage to all these Americans who served their nations, who contributed to restore freedom in Europe. And I would say it's also a very special place for us as the team of guides, as most of us in the team are from this area, and our grandparents, our family have been through the 4 years of oppression here in Normandy. So we kind of have a slight idea of how it was to not be free, and that we shall spread the world in a way. How lucky we are, and what we owe to all these men and women honored here in this Normandy cemetery. So let me introduce you how we'll proceed during the ceremony. We'll first all be facing the cemetery and the flags during the national anthem, and then we will all turn around to face the statue at the center of the memorial. This statue represents the spirit of American youth rising from the waves. The symbol, the vision of all these men who came ashore here in Normandy, on Omaha Beach, Utah Beach, Pointe du Hoc. Many of these men were actually young boys. Let's not forget that. And so after the national anthem, we'll all turn around facing the statue. The wreath will be laid at the foot of the statue. Then, gentlemen, you can have just a step back. Remain here if you want. And taps will be played. After that, we'll all have a moment of silence. Is that okay for everybody? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so we can start the ceremony. We can all face the cemetery and the flags. Hats off, please. Feel free to place your hand on your heart. Feel free to sing also if you want. Thank you. Thank you. Let's turn around, facing the statue. the spirit of the American youth rising from the waves. Gentlemen. Thank you very much. Let me just add just a few words from a veteran from Normandy. Mr. Kaufman came back several times here at the cemetery. And this is what he said the last time he came, in 2012. As I had done during previous visits to various cemeteries, I walked along among those crosses, and I thought again of how fortunate I've been. And I thought especially that it was by the grace of God, after what happened to me here in Normandy, that this cemetery should be my current address. This Normandy cemetery evokes this deep emotional response within me. And then I wondered why was it of all the cemeteries I had visited, especially that of Henri Chapelle in Belgium, I have many friends there. Why was it that it was always the Normandy cemetery that evokes such a deep emotional response within me? Normandy is different. The difference is the waves. It's the sound of the waves, the unrelenting sound of those waves. They're a powerful reminder of those lost years and a personal warning to me. Don't you ever forget the magnitude of the sacrifice, the enormity of the sacrifice that was paid for our freedom. Would you tell them back home, to your folks back home, that we do not forget in Normandy? Thank you very much. Enjoy your stay in the area in Normandy. Thank you.
Physically see all these graves. The word with American cemeteries the country of Luxembourg.
Really?
By Belgium, it's the largest.
For the war, this war?
What bottles? Oh, yeah. Let us can't forget. The sand bottle.
arrivé au moment où on se rapprochait du sol, et puis bah, là c'était fini. C'était fini en plus le truc, ça bougeait à moitié. C'est mort.
They were all seasick after this night, from June the 5th to June the 6th, and they had met south of the island of Wight at a place called named Piccadilly Circus before taking the direction of the landing zone. At 8 o'clock, this means an hour and a half after the first man had put a foot on the soil of Normandy, there were already 800 dead bodies on the beach of Omaha. 800. It was so dreadful that General Bradley even thought of stopping the fights. Stop the fights, go back into the sea and retreat. But they didn't, because during the conference of Casablanca that took place in January 43, the high commanders had stated that the war had to be carried on until the unconditional surrender of the enemies. So they kept on fighting against the Germans despite the heavy losses. By the end of D-Day, there were around 1,800 dead bodies on Omaha Beach. That's where the Americans suffered the biggest losses. The losses were not so heavy on Utah because the defense was of the Germans was weaker there. So today is September, and we don't see many people enjoying the beach, but if you would have come in July and August, as Anne-Sophie, the guide of the cemetery, told you, you would have seen by a sunny day plenty of people enjoying the summer, as people used to before the war, obviously. We don't have to be shocked, we don't have to be sad because of that when you see people enjoying the summer, kids playing on the beach, people enjoying and swimming. I have met a few veterans since I'm doing this tour, and the veterans I had the luck to meet always told me, they all told me the same thing. Fred, that's why we came. We came to allow you to enjoy your freedom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we have.
Yeah. Good day.
Yes, could not have asked for better. Okay.
All right, now I'm getting
Yeah.
people in.
And we may, yeah. Should we walk?
Yeah. They're right there. You want the monuments?
I like just the shore.
We have to get that on the Marianne, what do you want? The monuments or the channel? I like the monuments, but whatever. I just want to get a picture of it. Yeah, I do too. Oh, maybe there's some dry sand up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take a bunch?
Yeah, just take a bunch.
Okay. You want the whole body, right?
Yes,
Yeah, those are good.
Ja, ga je nou een keer omdraaien voordat er iemand...
Ja.
Must have been with your camera. Okay. Yeah. Is there something that you can see? Oh, we have 5 minutes. We're finding, there was something everyone was looking at. What is this? Monument.